the competition's brutal. You may see agents spending over $1 million to acquire a high-end first-round talent.
Can it be a dirty business?
Very much so. Very, very much so.
So leading up to the NFL draft, like what is your life like this time of year?
NFL teams are constantly asking me for medical records. They're asking me for intelligence examinations. They're inviting my guys to private workouts. I'm getting teams information they need about my guys. Teams are trying to do a little cloak and dagger, find out about what other teams think about my guys. And so there's a little bit of narrative building and cloak and dagger of my own on my end.
So when you mean cloak and dagger, I kind of know what you mean, but I also not entirely sure what you mean.
The NFL is a very copycat league. So if one team's interested in a guy, they don't want other people to know that because other teams will jump in and it becomes harder and more expensive in terms of cash and capital to get that player. So if you're a team that really likes a guy, you don't necessarily want to tell his agent that, and you definitely don't want the player to necessarily know that at this juncture because the agent will have the opportunity to tell every other team, hey, do you know what player XYZ? No, I don't. Well, the Patriots really like this guy. Really? So the agent creating these narratives of other teams liking your guy increases his overall value in the market.
Is everybody going for everybody, or is it just a lot of competition for those really big names and then everything kind of filters out down the line?
I wish it was the latter. It's probably more the former. Now, to get a first-round draft pick, which commission-wise is going to yield millions of dollars, hopefully over the course and scope, the competition's brutal. You may see agents spending over $1 million to acquire a high-end first-round talent because of the potential commissions that could be had doing that. And you're facing the behemoth agencies out there. But it's very competitive in the mid and late rounds too. You have agents spending 50, 60, 70 grand sometimes on mid-round talent. And then undrafted, it's even competitive on a different level. So it's competitive just differently across the entire draft board to work with talent. And you really got to segment yourself. And it's very fierce. It's crazy what people will do, what we'll offer. The other problem is there's really, about 700, 800 agents, and about 100 or so are what I call legit, consistently negotiating second and third contracts, profitable, which means a lot of agents don't have a lot of clients, and they're trying to, get into this business or be more in this business than they are. And so they're trying to do anything they can, even way out of market, entice a player to sign with them. And so you get players going with agents that, maybe the agent's not that great, but he's offering them a crazy package. It's way out of the realm. And you have to make a decision as a more tenured agent. Do I jump in financially into a field where it's unlikely the guy's going to be marketable, but I want him? There's a lot of push and pull on that.
Can it be a dirty business?
Very much so. Very, very much so. There's all kinds of under the table deals, and you've got to make a decision as an agent if that's how you want to conduct your business. There are ramifications, both positive and negative, from that. Or if you want to abstain from that completely and run a cleaner business, or you put yourself at a disadvantage, an advantage, whatever it may be. Different agents come to different conclusions on this, but yes, it can be extremely dirty.
Have you ever had, what's like the most interesting demand you've ever had from a player? Like, I want this much money, and
I had a guy that we were negotiating with. This is actually pretty recent, a couple of years ago. We had a guy, so I'll train at the training facility that you want me to train for 4 months. That's fine. But I must have a room in the housing for my cat. And I was like, you want a whole room? Just yes. He's very particular. And I was like, okay. So we negotiated that a little bit more. And our negotiation was, look, when you go to the NFL, unless you're drafted extremely high, if you tell a team that when you come to training camp or OTAs and you got a room for your cat, they are not touching you. And your stock is dropping. And you are now labeled a complete weirdo. And you are not of such a value to where teams will overlook that. There are just too many other players at your position of your same skill set and abilities that it will kill your stock. So we're going to treat you like an NFL team, and we're going to politely work with you on this, but you're not going to be normal for your cat. And never say that again.
But how much does the team matter? And this is kind of in line with one of our questions, is the sense that, like, okay, player X is going to make it if he goes to this team. But if he goes to this team, it's over.
Yep. So you try to find out on the front end where teams value guys. And they're all over the place. Some teams are like, we really like this guy. We drafted this guy in the 3rd round. And there are some teams like, we wouldn't touch this guy with a 10-foot pole. And if he comes here, his career is going to last about 3 weeks. The reasons why vary greatly. It could be scheme, how they play their players. It could be the coaches involved. It could be the type of players different teams look for. It could be their tolerance for behaviors. It could be medical history. It could be character. It could be intelligence. They assess all these things and come up with, a little bit different grades, team by team by team.
So will you have players that you could look back and say, like, that guy should have made it, but it just didn't work out for him?
I have a guy right now. He's still playing in the NFL. He's a wide receiver. He played at a small school. And after the draft, he had one team that called, not to draft him, but to sign him. And we took it, and no other team ever called again. He's now on his 7th year in the NFL, still playing in the league. Just, if you run the numbers on a player of that caliber, of a one-offer guy, should have been done probably 3 months in and never played a down of football again. So he bucked a lot of trends, but we can attribute it to he went to the right team that saw the right value in him during the preseason, used him the right way. He stood out enough and was given enough opportunities that led to him making the team. He played with that team for a number of years. His reputation grew and grew and grew, and now he's, again, still in the NFL.
Is there really like that little difference between some of the kind of rank and file guys, so to speak?
I mean, they're totally fungible. There are guys that, quite frankly, should have no shot. They get crazy shots. Guys that should have had, a super, super giant shot to get no shot. It's crazy. But yeah, when you get down to that little thing, the slightest thing kind of tip the scale. And so as an agent, you're really like looking like, look, how much can I actually impact this player's stock? How can I put him in the right position? How can I help make him as quickly as money that he can make right now, because he may not get that chance ever again? It's very tedious and very, very, very precarious at that level.
How much will teams kind of generally kind of go back and forth in the sense that we love this player at 1.1, but you're asking for 1.15, and absolutely not?
It's very tedious and very, very, very precarious at that level. It's very tedious and very, very, very precarious at that level.
How much will teams kind of generally kind of go back and forth in the sense that we love this player at 1.1, but you're asking for 1.15, and absolutely not?
I got in a veteran second contract negotiation this year where we were fighting over $5,000. It was ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how we got down. Well, we can do this, and it went back and forth over a couple of days over $5,000. But hey, I mean, you want to show your client that you're willing to do whatever. And it was important to him to get that extra $5,000. Great. The team made a hard line stop, and we got in. We had to kind of get creative with how we worded the language and how we did things. And that's another thing too, as an agent, is you got to get creative with how you do language in the contract itself to get the things that you want.
Is there really like that little difference between some of the kind of rank and file guys, so to speak?
I mean, they're totally fungible. There are guys that, quite frankly, should have no shot. They get crazy shots. Guys that should have had, a super, super giant shot to get no shot. It's crazy. But yeah, when you get down to that little thing, the slightest thing kind of tip the scale. And so as an agent, you're really like looking like, look, how much can I actually impact this player's stock? How can I put him in the right position? How can I help make him as quickly as money that he can make right now, because he may not get that chance ever again? It's very tedious and very, very, very precarious at that level.